Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time popping in. Today we're going to be going through my minis basket. There's things that are not quite mini in here. There's minis in here. There's Lenormand in here. There's playing cards. We're going to go through all this stuff as part of my collection and declutter series, so quite a few decks to cover. But before we do that, hello, my name is Lisa. Welcome to my channel. I like to make content that is divination related / adjacent. So that's mostly what you will find here. I am a tarot deck creator, an author, a content creator, obviously here on YouTube, and I will throw up a graphic so you can see my decks and books that are out and where you can get them. Unicorn's Journey Oracle is my newest, and it has, at the time I'm filming this, not quite hit the shelf, but who knows when this video will actually get on the channel. So I will have a link down below where you can check out all of my things if you are so inclined. Now then, we're going to get into this big messy basket, and I feel like I'm just going to start. I'm going to try to do things in some kind of an order, I guess. And it's not that great of a system, but we're going to do the best we can. And we're going to start with some playing cards that I am gravitating towards for either playing card divination or solo role-playing gameplay, which I am planning a video on that. Y'all stay tuned. I will be doing that. I'm going to try to get one of those out soonish, but if I haven't yet, who knows? At the time I'm filming this, I haven't filmed it yet, so time travel on YouTube is a thing. Anyway, let me show you the playing card decks that I have and what I think they are useful for. So let's start off with, when I first wanted a playing card deck to play with divination with, I actually picked up this one. This is the Bicycle Vintage deck, and I believe this is somehow connected to Fournier or something, but I'm not 100% sure. It says it's made in the USA, but this is what the box looks like, and these are so delightfully like broken in looking, like really, really distressed is the word I'm looking for. I keep my jokers separate. I definitely plan to use this in role-playing games now, like in solo role-playing games where you do playing card draws, because I feel like this could fit into just about any world and just like not break immersion in that world. This is what the backings look like. So this isn't going anywhere. I think this is great, but it got replaced as far as a divination deck because my bestie Danny Mystic made a playing card deck, and she is, as far as I'm concerned, the queen of playing card divination, and therefore I wanted hers. So this is her petite fee playing cards. These are totally safe. These would also be really great in a tabletop role-playing game, but because they're Danny's, I'm probably going to always connect them with magic and divination. So this is my specifically divination playing card deck. So that one's also safe. These little plastic cases by Make Playing Cards that hold decks are great, but not all decks fit in them. And in fact, I have another one in here somewhere in this basket. I'm going to see if one of these other ones will fit in here. Maybe this one? I don't think it's going to fit, but we're going to try. Let's just see. Oh no, this one fits. Oh, perfect. There. So I'm going to do that because these are like my two faves, and I'll just ditch that box. And then these two are great. So this one is a visual botanical encyclopedia. This is premium playing cards. I have no idea how I ended up with this. I'm guessing it came in some sort of a subscription box, but it's pretty cool. And if I can find it, I will link it down below. But this is what the backings look like. And then the tops, or the fronts rather, they have just different herbs and like botanicals with their name and their common name and their Latin, their botanical name. I don't know. This is great. I actually use this deck when I'm playing solo role-playing games that involve collecting plants, flowers, etc. Specifically, I'm thinking of Apothecary, the animal version, and this is just so on point for that, but it would be great in any other like witchy or herbalism style games. I just think that'd be really fun. So it was great immersive-wise to use in that game anyway, so I've kept it for that reason. I think without that, I don't know that I would have kept it long term, but it's been great for that. And then this I got in a book subscription box a long time ago, and I just thought this would be really fun to use in other solo RPGs where you use playing cards. My deck is in order, just because it's kind of got this like high fantasy. Yeah, here's the faces. It's based on a book that I haven't read, so that's great. Oh, Owl Crate. This came in an Owl Crate box. Rattle the Stars, Joe Painter, I don't know these names. Oh, here it is, Inspired by Throne of Glass series. Oh, I did read that series, actually. At least the first, like, 3 or 4 books of that series. So now I'm curious with the face cards if I recognize Like which one of these is supposed to be the female protagonist. Is she one of these characters? Salome? I don't know. It's not her, I don't think. Could be her. I can't remember. I read that. I started that series a very long time ago. Oh, maybe it's her. I have no idea. I clearly have no idea. Anyway, but they're pretty and they've got purple edges. And I thought this like more high fantasy sort of style, this would be fun for other types of tabletop, or not tabletop, but solo role-playing games that use playing card pulls. So these are safe. I'm hoping they're going to fit in this basket when we're done, which is why they're in this pile. I don't know if they're actually going to. So no declutters to be done there. This tuck box does not want to stay open, and I'm kind of wondering if I should prioritize this one. No, because these are my two faves. If I had to like pare this down, I would keep these two and ditch these two, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. I also have some like Hello Kitty playing cards and things, but since I'm not really using those, I'm just like keeping those. I keep trying to do this in some kind of an order and it's not working out. So I'm just gonna dive in and we're just gonna talk about things as I can. So first off this is living in a bag with some dice and some other stuff, because this is the deck I'm using when I play Corico, which is a solo role-playing game. I know I've mentioned that a bunch, but here we are. This is literally, mine's already sorted, so I'm not going to show you a ton of cards, but this has been around forever. This is a Llewellyn mini, so it's like a true mini. Like here is the playing card deck. Like you can see it's quite small. So this is going to be like a poker size, and this is the size of like a Llewellyn, like, you know, outside of its box. But this actually spent a long time living in my work bag. In fact, it was my purse tarot for years until I made my own mini tarot, which I guess I should show now. So this is Everyday Witch Tarot Mini, and it's not going anywhere. It's like I said, it's currently being used in this role-playing game. It's just cute to have like a mini that size. I don't have very many mini tarots that are that size. But I also have kind of in that size. Do I have anything else in that size? I guess that's one of the teeniest ones. My absolute teeniest one, here we go. Okay, here's my other two, like minis. And I guess we can keep that out just as a size reference. And I should probably have a standard tarot card somewhere handy for a size reference. So let me just grab this Marseille card. So we have like a easy to look at size reference cards. So for comparison, and I feel like I've done this before, maybe in another collection update video or in a cardstock video, I've kind of shown these, but so this is the Everyday Witch Tarot Mini, just to give you kind of perspective. This is standard tarot size. And then I have this Everybody's Tarot. I think I'm probably going to keep this because I actually don't think I'm going to keep the full size of this. But it's a really convenient mini tarot. I kind of almost wish it didn't have all these extra cards. Oh, wait, that's the Page of Cups. Hold on. What am I doing here? Okay, wait. We have forgiveness, family, phoenix, saying no, equality, space, compassion. Okay, these are all tarot. Surrender, rose quartz. Okay, oh. What have I done? Okay, so these ones are like oracle-y cards. And so again, just to compare, I would say this is actually a little bit shorter even. It is, look at that. So if that is the Everyday Witch, this is the I'm not stacking it very well, but you get the idea. That's the Everyday Witch, or sorry, the Everybody's Tarot Mini. Special first edition. Like I said, I have this deck in full size, but I don't really like it. And full size now that I've had it, but this has been very convenient because these cards and this particular illustration style, as hopefully you can see here, is really easy to see in mini format. I don't think I have any more of those oracle cards mixed in. Hopefully not. Oh, no, I just found one. See, this is a problem. I don't like when they have all these extra cards because these little mini decks are already difficult to shuffle. And I feel like, yeah, productivity, boundaries. It's got like a built-in oracle, and like that's great and all. But the old tree, the crow, the white feather, the sea, those are oracles. Oh my gosh, there's a lot. Hold on, how many oracle cards are in here? Well, we're gonna clean it up while we hang out together. These are all tarot. Hopefully I haven't missed any. You get a quick little flip through in the process here. But here's my curiosity. Now that I have the Idiosyncra Deck Mini, I wonder if that will do the job of this deck. I don't know if I'm going to need both. We're gonna take a look in a second, because I think the illustration style of the Idiosyncra deck will accomplish the same goal for me. There's magic, peace. I must have shuffled those oracles in at some point. Okay, there we go. So that's the actual tarot. And then this is the little oracle, like a number of cards. Because this, I don't know if it says on here how many cards is in here. But what's great about this, again, just to talk about how it works, if you're like wanting to use them, if you're wanting to actually have a mini deck that is usable, let's see if I can shuffle it now that I'm down to just the tarot. Okay, I can shuffle it. It does have a little bit of flex. So the neat thing about this is that if you do want to lay out like a really big spread, like a Celtic cross or something nice and big, you can see that what's really great with these minis is you can definitely fit like all your cards. I'm pretty zoomed in actually right now too, but you can fit all your cards on your table. You would normally have a crossing card there just to give you perspective, but like that's really great. And ideally you can kind of pretty easily see what you're looking at. Like that's like, it's pretty easy to see. So that's kind of my thinking behind wanting to have a super like mini tarot like this. It's just kind of convenient. But the fact that there's all these extra cards means I got to look for those. If I just want to work with the tarot, I got to figure that out, sort them out before I use it. So the Idiosyncra deck, literally the box is an identical size, but I suspect these cards are thicker and less flexy. Do these have oracle cards in them? No. So here's my thinking is, obviously this one is more like treasured to me. I don't want to try and shuffle this one either, because I'm going to do a walkthrough where I look at this side by side with the Cracked Amethyst Tarot. But size-wise, I'm just going to check and see if I could get it to bend. It's not going to happen, y'all. It's like really hard to do. Nope. See, that's the thing. Everybody's tarot does bend. This doesn't. But the reality is that this deck I like just for its own sake, if that makes sense. And it's not that I don't like the Everybody's Mini. It's just that this was like a novelty item, I feel like, for me when I got it. I don't know. It's cute. But do I need both of these? I don't feel like I do. I will say, though, gosh, the font is much easier to read on this one. It does shuffle a little bit better. I'm going to think about it as I film the rest of this, as I kind of go through the rest of these and just see where I land. I might just decide to keep both, especially because I'm not keeping the full size of this Everybody's Tarot. But Idiosyncra deck is safe. This was a unicorn deck in my collection. It was something that like I really, really wanted. It was way out of print. It was really hard to get. I've never been one to go wild on out of print deck prices. I can't bring myself to do it. Maybe one day there'll be something I want that bad, but so far there hasn't been. Even this, and I wanted this for years. But then I found out that Jessica Bott was working on an updated version of this, which is what the Cracked Amethyst Tarot is. But when she hit certain stretch goals, she agreed to print a mini of the Idiosyncra deck, which was great, along with the exact same sized mini of the Amethyst Oracle. I have the full size also of the Amethyst Oracle, and I'm trying to decide what that deck's future is going to be in my collection. So I kind of see the Amethyst Oracle as specifically being a companion to the Idiosyncra deck. Now that I have the Idiosyncra deck mini and this together, I want to be able to use these specifically together, like these two little mini decks. I just think that's really cute. So I'm perfectly happy. I'm not a huge like mini deck collector, not like Peggy. And even she's like pretty much done collecting at this point. She's got what she wants, but these are just really cute. So these are all my like super minis, and they're even tinier than my like Everyday Witch Tarot. So I don't know. Let me just think about these for a minute up here. Okay. In continuing on in like mini category, we might as well look at the another deck that lives in this is an Oracle technically. It's not really a mini, it's like a playing card sized deck. It's actually another playing card deck. But this one lives in my purse as an Oracle deck. So this has taken on a lot of meaning for me. I personalized this set. These are the Anne Stokes Unicorn playing cards, but I actually had this whole like sort of channeled experience where I went through and added keywords to these cards. Like this is Camphor Medicine. This one is Personal Power. This one is Serenity, Memento Mori, Beware Assumptions, A Full Cup, concentrated learning, personal growth, and so forth and so on. Strong boundaries. I love that. So yeah, this actually has a very, very personalized meaning to me. Help will come. Tentative. This card itself has a strong meaning. Anyways, so this is like my go-to on-the-go sort of spiritual oracle deck. I'll word it like that. I don't really know how to describe this, but this is really special, and it does live in my work bag, or my bag, my tote that I carry almost everywhere with me. This lives in that, along with my own mini, which is the Unicorn's Journey Tarot. And compared to the Everyday Witch, I believe mine is just a little taller. Yeah, so this is a great size. I find this to be a great size. I find it to be a great shape. And that little bit of extra height, it may not seem like it makes a big difference, but I find that when you get into mini decks, if they are too square, like these decks, can actually be really hard to shuffle. If they're longer and nice and flexy, then they shuffle really nicely. So this is actually my little mini of the Unicorn's Journey Tarot is 310 GSM German black core cardstock, because I'm a nerd and for quality. But it shuffles so beautifully. It's a really useful little mini. I find it just works really well, and I adore it. I absolutely adore it. I don't necessarily think I'm going to make a point of making minis of my decks. This is so far the only one I've made and the only one I currently plan to make. But I love having my sort of like heart and soul tarot in my bag at all times. Like, it's just, so yes, this lives in my work bag with me all the time. Obviously is super safe. I could probably get rid of my, I don't really need my own certificate of authenticity, I suppose, but it's still in there. So I just love this little deck, and it's held up really well just being chucked in my bag. And I find these little magnetic boxes, for me, are more practical than a tin for getting in and out of a mini bag, kind of like this. I like something where it's kind of all in one. I don't have to track a lid separately. And also I find that tin decks, I love tin decks. I've got quite a few in this pile, but I find they can sometimes feel a little bit heavier. I don't know. They feel more like a brick in my bag sometimes. Anyways, so these two live in my purse, and I'll show this next one, even though it's a Lenormand, and we're going to do Lenormand separately, but in this little video, I'm still going to cover my Lenormand, but this is a little mini Lenormand I got years and years ago called the Mythical Mini Lenormand. There's been a few different versions of this since. I think there's a more, I don't think it looks like this anymore. I don't know if even if the cardstock is the same. Mine is very broken in. It's very, like, it's like, we're really, really broken in. I've used this a ton. But this is a monochromatic little Lenormand deck. And compared to, again, tarot, you can see that's the size. But I have used this a bunch, and I just like having a Lenormand deck that lives on my person. I don't know that I'm super attached to this particular deck at all, except for just that it was one of the first ones that one of the first indie deck purchases I actually ever made, very early on, I would say. And it's really soft. It's really broken in. Like, it almost feels fabricy. You know, when you have a deck that's just like, it wasn't super thick cardstock to begin with. It's got that kind of matte lamination feel. But this one's just been used so much that it's like super broken. And it would probably feel flimsy by today's standards. If I got a deck that felt like this right out of the box, I'd be like, ew. But like, this is just so worn in and broken down from like all the use it's had. But yeah, this lives in this little pouch that Peggy made me. But I like to have these with me. Like, if I'm carrying a large enough purse or in whatever tote bag I happen to be using, this is my like little set. In fact, in the bag that I typically use to go around, like to take with me, it's got like a little like pouch that I think you're meant to put a water bottle in, and I use it to hold these. So that's what I do. That's these are untouchable, obviously. Okay, other mini tarots. So let's look at some decks in a tin. I have a few of those. And, oh, wait. There's another super tiny mini in here. Hold on. Before we get to decks in a tin, which we will do, I've got another itty bitty that kind of fell down into the bottom here. So let me pull that out. And this one, I think I'm going to let go. This is the Deviant Moon. And I don't know what happened here. I don't know why this is so freaking thick. I don't know whose idea that was, but it does make it very difficult to shuffle. I love the Deviant Moon Tarot, as I'm sure a lot of you know, but when you hold that up next to, just from a thickness perspective, the Everyday Witch Tarot Mini, which was a Llewellyn. This is US Games. You can see just how thick it is, and I cannot shuffle this. The shape should make it so shuffleable, but it's much too thick for what it is, and it's very narrow. Like if you look at, again, this Everyday Witch, it's almost the same size as Everyday Witch, but it's like just a hair shorter and quite a bit narrower. And I mean, I get it. This is the form factor of the Deviant Moon. It is a narrower deck. That's just how it's designed. So of course, when they made it mini, it had to be narrower. That makes sense to me, but it makes it feel extra tiny. And it's so tiny that I don't know. It just doesn't sit right. And maybe part of it is that I'm just used to having an opportunity to look at the artwork so much bigger in my standard size, but I don't know. It's not doing it for me. So this one I think is one I can let go of. So I will put this in the, for sure to go in my chopping block pile, which I don't know if I'm going to come back and make a what I ended up ditching video. I've been just trying to do it as I go. Early on in this series, I was like, oh, I'll make a video and I'll show you all the things that are going, but I don't know that I'm going to do that because honestly, I've amassed quite a pile. Plus I did some like off-camera decluttering as well, just here and there. And I'm showing you what's in my collection. That's where we're at, I think. But we'll see. I don't want to talk myself back into things that I've decided that I can probably purgatory. And I'm worried I'll do that if I do it on camera. So we'll see. We'll see. I may or may not show some of those. But regardless, I'm just babbling. Okay, so now I'm going to grab all my things that are in tins. I'll probably still manage to forget something. But these are all of my current tinned decks that I have, including an Oracle, right? Oh, and technically a Lenormand. So these are all my tins. I'm going to show the Lenormand separate though, but I think that's it for, yeah, that's it for tins. Okay, so thoughts. Oh my gosh, I have many thoughts. First of all, I can do this kind of in reverse. Oh, I have it kind of off camera. Okay, I can do this kind of in reverse. So let me pull out my favorites, the ones that are like totally safe. So this one is totally safe. It is one of my favorite decks. The fact that it's in a tin is like irrelevant. It is such a wonderful pip deck. It's soft, it's calming to look at. It's got this like animal energy, but in this really like neat way. But what always draws me back to this deck is the way that the creator of this deck intentionally wove in chakra colors into these ribbons to give you sort of a hint of like what's going on. So color is used very, very intentionally. And I love this deck. It feels very neutral. It feels very clean. The otters in it are so dang cute. And I don't stumble with the animals. It doesn't seem to like matter. It doesn't look like an animal deck, even though it clearly does have quite a bit of animal energy in here. But I always find this such a soothing deck to work with. And if I need that like calm, clean, kind of clear voice, this is the one I tend to reach for. And I actually even tracked down a standard size version of this so that I could have the first, like the indie, like standard size. And I prefer the cardstock on this. It just holds up better. So this is very, very safe. This one is, this is also safe, I think. Let me think. Yes, it's also safe. I like, well, is it? Yeah, I mean, I really like this. This is the Universal Tarot deck. This is actually, obviously it's Pamela Coleman Smith's artwork, but the coloring is done by Mary Hanson Roberts of the Hanson Roberts Tarot. I do really like the soft coloring in this deck, but this technically falls into reference deck territory because I don't actually read with the Rider-Waite Smith. And what ends up happening is I keep getting these little RWS in a tin. I keep doing that. But then what happens is that outside of like having something to like throw in my bag to go to a conference or something, I don't actually need a classic Rider-Waite Smith deck because I don't read with these decks. And I have a full size, which you'll see in when I do my reference collection, but this is my original tarot by Debray or Debris or however you say it. And I'm rather fond of this one. I'm fond of how like bold the coloring is and how clean the lines are. So I feel like if I need a Rider-Waite Smith deck to like cart around with me somewhere, like I've got this. So I don't actually need this. But that's what happens. I get one of these, I use them for a while, I enjoy them, and then I let them go. And I think this one can probably go. So I'm going to put this in the go pile. Okay, narrowing it down. Okay, we have to talk about Buffy. Okay, I have this deck in 3 different sizes, yo. I have the standard, which I keep waiting. If anybody gets confirmation, and if you've already told me, I so am sorry that I must have forgotten, but if anybody gets confirmation that the standard size Buffy Tarot has had the art corrected to match the book, or the book corrected to match the art, or whatever, let me know. Because my mega size Buffy is correct, but my standard isn't, and that drives me crazy. But anyways, I picked up this mini. This mini is also correct. But here's the thing. Between the gilding and just how massively, like, look how thick that is. Like again, here's my mini Everyday Witch. You can even see in the pouch. Like, this is so thick that the only way to use it is to hand over hand. And I did enjoy using this for a little while in a game, like for one of my characters, but it's not. This is just highly impractical. And frankly, I really actually love the artwork in this deck, and it's hard. It's just, I'm not going to use the mini. I'm going to be real with myself here. It was fun. We had fun, but I think it's time for this one to leave. Okay. Ooh, it's getting tougher. Okay. I am thinking many thoughts. Where do I start? Okay. Let's talk about the Light Seers. I love that I have the mini. But I'm just coming off of a 2-month study where I worked with this deck a ton, and the only time I really wanted to use the mini, this is actually a really great size, by the way. Again, let's just pull out, I should have been doing this the whole time, but let's just pull out this standard tarot again. It's a nice size, and I can actually shuffle this. It is shuffleable. Oh, that's quite nice. But like, again, I don't necessarily need this deck in a mini. I do like working with the full size. I don't know. I really like working with the full size. I think I had decided to let the tin go and just work with the full size. And I think I'm going to just think about it. I'm going to put this up with the Everybody's Tarot Mini, which is in the iffy department. These are keeps. I put those over in the keeps area. I've got like piles that make sense to me and probably nobody else. So this is my maybe pile. We'll put that in the maybe pile. We're going to revisit that in a second. Okay. The Gentle Tarot. Okay, and this is another one of those that, look, I still have my little sticker sheet in here. I love this in theory. I do. But here's the thing. Again, it's quite thick, and I do find this one a little tricky to shuffle. It's not the worst. It's not the best, though. It's a little stiff just because it is a good quality, thicker cardstock. It's got this really nice gilding on it, but it does make it a little difficult to handle. And when I want the mini, I want the full size. And I think I've done that in like a this or that video before, but even more than that, I actually backed the new edition of this deck that is a slightly updated colorway. And I far prefer the new colors, and I know that as soon as I get that new one in my hands, my old Gentle Tarots are going to go. So with that being the case, I'm going to go ahead and say la vie this one now before I lose my nerve. I'm going to keep the stickers with it so that the next home gets their little stickers, though. I love this box design. It's so cozy feeling and soft with its rounded corners, and I love the slide mechanism as opposed to the like lift up. I think that's really nice, and it feels like really secure. It's got a little bit of like a, I don't know how to describe it. Like you can feel it go into place, and it doesn't just like willy-nilly loosen, which is really nice. Beautiful embossing. This would have been a custom mold. So, I mean, this whole thing, so much attention to detail. Love that. So, yeah, I think that can go. I think that can go. Okay. Oh, this one is tough. I cannot tell you how many times I've had the Wild Unknown, like the full size, like 2, maybe 3 times now. And I always end up rehoming it. And I think that I told myself that one of the reasons I wanted the mini, here's a size comparison. One of the reasons, yeah, why is it doing that? Out of curiosity. That's better. Okay. Anyway, there's the size difference. I told myself that I wanted the tin version because if I have the tin version, then I'm less likely to give in and repurchase the full size of this again. Because I don't love it, but it's like a piece of my tarot history, and I'm having a hard time fully letting it go. So I think for that reason, I might continue to hold on to it. I do think it'd be a fun deck to study with my members one day and like really get into. But here's the thing. I feel like if I do a study with my members, I'm going to want the full size again. I feel like I know myself. I'm pretty sure though that the guidebook has all the exact same info in it. If anybody knows if this little mini guidebook does have the same info, then I could potentially still host the study with just this little mini book, although I don't know if I'd be able to bring myself to do that. Here's what I'm going to say. For now, I'm going to go ahead and keep the tin because otherwise I'll just end up buying the full size because I'm ridiculous. And it's just one of those decks that, like, again, I have had good times with this deck. I really enjoyed taking the time to bond with this deck initially when I first got it. It's one of the decks that sort of brought me onto TarotTube in its own roundabout kind of way. So it feels like a piece of my tarot history, but this might belong actually in my nostalgia category and not in like my decks in rotation category. It might actually be better off going onto my storage shelf. So I think I'm going to put it on my storage shelf instead of, well, no, I might as well keep it in the basket. I don't know. I'll keep it in the basket. This is a hard category because I think I like mini decks. I think that's what I'm learning about myself. Okay, my last tin deck is Little Cryptid Oracle. This is by Andrew and Christopher of Little Dark Arts. Unfortunately, these guys are no longer doing art together. They're doing their own projects now. And this is how I discovered them. And as you know, we got to work with these artists for Sassy Dragons Tarot. I held on to this, even though I don't use it a lot, partly because the art style is so dang cute, but also partly because I saw myself pairing this with Sassy Dragons Tarot. But when I got the deck, when I got Sassy Dragons in, this just has totally different energy than the Sassy Dragons. And if I'm being completely honest, cryptids, this one's so cute. Cryptids aren't really my thing. So I don't really get excited to work with this, as adorable as it is. And so it tends to just sit. I have some prints of this unicorn and other versions of it that they were playing with. So this gives me a lot of like warm fuzzies, but it's not a deck I've ever really thought to reach for readings. I think I'm going to put this in purgatory. This is, again, one of those ones that I don't think I'm going to be in a big rush to let go of, but I don't think it needs to be in active rotation for me, but it is really super cute. So Little Cryptid Oracle is going to go in my go pile, which, again, just purgatory. We're going to calm down. It's all good. Okay. Oh my gosh. There's other things here. Okay, let me get into my pouched minis. I feel like I'm doing some kind of order, but like I'm really not, but I'm telling myself I am. I'll do that. I'll do my pouched minis and this one. Okay, so let's talk about this. This is my Nicoletta Ciccoli Tarot Mini. This is another one where I'm like, I'm not sure I need the mini, if I'm being honest, because when I want to work with this deck, I always just grab my full size. I mean, the mini's cute, don't get me wrong, but I'm much more bonded to my full size. Plus, I have the Nicoletta Ciccoli Oracle, and I do like to use them together. And the thing is, the Nicoletta Ciccoli Oracle next to the mini tarot is just gigantic. So I think I'm going to let this mini go as well. One of the things I'm trying to do is not have duplicates of things, and I'm going to eat my words in a minute, and you'll see. But because I have a few where I do have duplicates, and I'm trying to figure those out. Okay, here's another like one that just has, oh look, it's almost the same as it's not the same fabric, but it's almost the same as my background. This is my Llewellyn Tarot. I trimmed this. I'm going to say this is my Kelly Fitzgerald made me do this. This is Kelly the Truth and Story. And also a little bit of Dawn Michelle. This is such a beautiful deck. This is the Llewellyn Tarot, and it's based on Welsh mythology, and the art is so gorgeous in this. I trimmed mine and I used a brown like fine point Sharpie to like add the alchemical symbol and the number for the minors, or the number and the title. So this is 18 Moon for the majors. This deck is beautiful trimmed. This was a scissor trim though, so it doesn't perfectly shuffle. I also kind of intentionally like broke this deck in and kind of tried to like, I don't know, like be mean to it a little bit. So it's kind of like worn. It has a worn feeling. I don't know how to describe that. A little bit of a softer worn feeling, and it's on the old Llewellyn cardstock, which that's been my biggest hesitation, is letting this go, because the newer versions of this are on a different cardstock. But here's the thing, I don't ever use this, not ever. It's never been one I've been particularly drawn to, but I've kept it partly because I knew it'd be difficult to replace. And it's so pretty. It really is beautiful. But it's one of those things where I want to know the lore behind it. And even though I've actually done some study of the Welsh pantheon and Welsh mythology and the Mabinogion, that stuff did not stick in my head very well, if I'm being completely honest. I think this one I've held on to just because, I don't know, I didn't want to let it go. I just didn't want to let it go, but I think it's time. So I think that's also going to go. I'm trying to like pare this like basket down because it's gotten way out of control, in case you can't tell. It's like way out of control. So my keeps are very like minimal. Oh, another one well, I'll show that one next. Okay. So, okay, into my little pouched minis here. So this is my mini or my travel size, I don't know what you call it, Oak, Ash, and Thorn. This one I feel like is safe. First of all, it's the original edition with the original font. And for my full size, I have moved to their newer version with the updated font and the updated backs. So part of me wants to keep this one. And again, for size reference here, this is one of the larger minis. You can see it's more of like, I guess, a pocket or travel size. Like it's, hopefully you can see the difference. If I flip this over, that doesn't really help. If I flip this over, because it's got a white border, it also doesn't really help. But let me bring it up to the camera so you can see a little bit better. Anyway, I love this deck, and this mini doesn't feel too mini. It's, again, more of like a tarot and a tin / travel size. And I have actually pulled this out quite a bit when I'm doing a bigger spread, like a Celtic Cross. I've used this a lot in Celtic Cross spreads. It's one of the first ones I always have tended to reach for when I'm doing bigger spreads like that, because it's just a bit smaller so I can fit more cards on my table. And it's pretty, but again, it's got that, it's like the first edition version. And yeah, so I'm pretty sure this one is safe. So we'll pop that one back in. This was a custom pouch that Peggy made for me to like exactly fit like this deck specifically. So that one is safe. That brings me to my travel edition of the Sasarai Bito. Oh boy. Okay, so my full size of this is actually already in my chopping block pile. And I think this one's going to go too. I just feel like my time with Sasarai Bito is over. This is actually kind of a linen-y cardstock, and it's really lovely. Like this deck to shuffle, again, let me show you the sizing. This is actually a little taller even than Oak, Ash, and Thorn. This is a little bit taller and skinnier, but the shuffle on this is just fabulous. If you've got smaller hands, this is a really nice, like, sized deck. And if you like the Sasarai Bito Tarot, this is great. I had a whole heyday of a time with this deck when I first got it, and I used it a lot in my client readings, but I have not felt the call to use this in a very, very long time. So I think this one is going to go in my chopping block. It's going to stay with its pouch because it was also a custom size pouch. So that one's going to be rehomed with its little bag someday. Again, I don't rehome things immediately, so just so you know, I'll probably sit on them for quite a while. Also, Peggy and I are going to be going to a witchy flea market in October, actually. I don't know when this video is coming out, but we'll be going to a witchy flea market, and that's where I tend to rehome a lot of my decks. So you can always pop by there and snap things up if you're in the area. Okay, so now we're into kind of like, I don't know, they're in my mini basket, but they're like not quite that small. So this is my Mons Tarot travel size. I have no excuse for why I want and need. I kind of have an excuse. I have 3 versions of this deck. But as many of you know, this is a deck I called my soul deck for a long time. I mean, to some degree that's still true, although arguably my Unicorn's Journey now definitely fills that space. But like this has a special place in my heart, and I love this size. Again, as you can see, it's not much smaller than standard tarot. In this case, it's much closer, but this size is great because the original first edition Mons Tarot that I have is quite a bit larger. And I also have I have the first edition Mons Tarot. I have this edition of the Mons Tarot, which has the titles and is much easier to shuffle. And then I also have the second edition Mons Tarot, but that one I trimmed it to take the borders off, so it's completely borderless. And that one I also edged in shades of blues. So each copy does something different for me, right? I've got this size. But I have that borderless version, actually. Hold on, let me do something a little bit crazy here. We're just gonna do a little size comparison between this size and my second edition borderless, I think, if I can find it. Okay, I found it. So here's my dilemma. I know this looks gigantic, but it's really not. So here's my dilemma. So here's my second edition trimmed borderless Mons Tarot. And then here's my travel. These actually are quite a bit different in size still. Well, shoot. But the thing is, like this feels almost like standard tarot size. This feels oversized, and my first edition is bigger still. But like, I love the way this is borderless so much. And I feel like I can see the art so much better. And this little one is fine, again, for like big spreads. But I wonder if I didn't have this, I would just probably reach for this guy instead. And like, that would be fine. I can't possibly trim like let go of an edition of this deck though, I don't think. Can I? Can I? I feel like this is one of those exceptions where I can allow myself the extra copy. Okay, I'm gonna not, because I think I might have regrets if I do. I do love my second edition trimmed, but no, I gotta keep it. I gotta keep it. I feel like I would maybe probably have regrets if I let this go. Okay. This is what we're doing. I'm sorry. This is like a weird video. It's like we're half just, I'm showing you what I love and how I use it, but also decluttering kind of at the same time. So yeah, my Monstero travel is going to be safe for now. I have two, okay, let's do the 2 pip decks that I have in this category. This is the newest one to me, and it's called the Trinity Tarot. Oh goodness, we're just going everywhere, aren't we? It's called the Trinity Tarot. Oh my goodness, where are you? And I really like this. This is by Ari Weisner, and it's square. It's, again, sort of minimal, nice, clean, calming to look at. I really like this. And I do like having decks like this that just trim back some of the peopliness, trim back some of the scenes, and just really feel more, I don't know, open? I don't know, I really like that. So I think this one's safe for now and is in this category. And then we have the Crystal Struck Tarot. This has been such a great little deck for me. I've really enjoyed this. I thought this was a impulse buy novelty that I was going to enjoy for a little while, and it was all the bling, it's all the holographic flashiness. This is, again, called Crystal Struck by Moonstruck Crystals. They have this in a full size, but man, this cardstock is a pain in the butt. It's very, very stiff. It does not like to shuffle. I have to hand over hand, I mean, it's pretty blingy on the sides. Look at that. I have to hand over hand it because it just will not shuffle. But something that is so amazing about this deck that I really love is that it's pips and it pulls in crystals, but it pulls them in with tarot. And for some reason, like the little crystal edition just works really well in this deck, and I enjoy it. And I have a very limited collection of kind of go-to pip decks, and this is one that I just really enjoy. The crystal adds that extra little oomph of something. Like here we have the tangerine quartz and the little guidebook. You wouldn't think this does much, but the little guidebook. So here we have the tangerine quartz in with the 6 of Cups. But if I go find the 6 of Cups in here, there's a little blurb usually always about the crystal. 6 of Cups, tangerine quartz, inner child, creativity, and joy. And so the little bit of crystal lore adds to the meaning. It absolutely matches with the card it's been paired with. There's nothing careless about the way this is done. And all this like holographic foil, like it's a little distracting, but it's so pretty. But it also makes the crystal pop on the card, and you can really kind of, it's hard to describe, but the crystal becomes really obvious. Like there's our pink amethyst for the High Priestess, and you can see the way that she's like kind of holding it. And it's so blingy and fun, but I've used this a bunch actually, and it's been worked into different practices during tarot test drive stuff, and it's just been a great little deck. So this one is definitely staying. It kind of functions for me like a cross between a tarot and an oracle. It reads well like a tarot, but it's filled in its function as an oracle on several occasions. So that one is safe. And that brings us to a little tarot oracle duo, the Tarot of Oneness and the Oracle of Oneness. Do I need either of these in a mini? No. No, I don't. Am I so thrilled to have both of these in a mini? Yes, I am actually. I am obsessed with these. First of all, the Tarot of, I'm not sure why that one was there. Okay. The Tarot of Oneness, regardless of the fact that the cardstock is quite stiff on the Tarot of Oneness. I love the Tarot of Oneness generally. But it's shuffleable. Like it is doable, and mine has gotten broken in over time. It was quite difficult when I first got it. And I have let go of a lot of my difficult to shuffle minis, if I'm being honest. This basket is much pared down for the tarot section than what it used to be. But I love the Tarot of Oneness, and I absolutely am so thrilled with the Oracle of Oneness. It does things a little bit differently, and this deck is not, like, this is not that dissimilar. In fact, it might literally be poker size. It's absolutely poker size. So it's playing card size, the Oracle is. The Tarot is smaller than that. So here's the Oracle and there's the Tarot. And what's great about this is a combo of decks. I put my playing card away. I hate tuck boxes with an absolute passion. Holy cow. Hate them, but I will put up with them for playing card decks. What's great about this is that because I have the Oracle and the Tarot, I can literally do this Oracle Tarot combo layout that I'm so addicted to now. And it works great. And if I want a go-to deck for like, other than say the Oak, Ash, and Thorn for smaller readings, this one is great. So if I want to think about like, what do I have here in this? I love the first person perspective of both the Oracle and the Tarot of Oneness. I gotta remember to keep things in frame. I'm sorry if that's been obnoxious. I'm like also just like at my table doing my thing, bringing y'all along. I know we've been here for a million years, but that's okay. I knew this particular video was going to be a long one. Anyway, I love having some decks that I can pull for bigger spreads or whatnot and know that it's just going to work. It's just going to work. And that's great. I love that. I have significantly pared this section down. So let me think about these. I think that I can probably keep my 3 little mini micro decks. The Idiosyncratic, Amethyst, these were safe. But I think I'm going to go ahead and continue to keep everybody's tarot for now. That gives me like 3 little teeny tinies that I can use, which is great. Lightseer's Mini, I think I'm going to go ahead and let go of. That was the one that I was still trying to decide. So that means that my tarot section of my basket, you saw how chaotic it was earlier, is now down to, hold on, I hope I can get this all in camera. So I've got this row of decks, and then I have this row of decks. That's quite under control. So let's tackle the second half of this basket. The second half should go quicker. I covered this deck actually in a different video. It just lives in here because my Marseille decks, oh my gosh, I've got to really enunciate. This just lives in this basket because my Marseille decks are in here because they just are. I only have 4. And one is a reference deck. So again, we'll cover that later. But I have this one. I have, I covered this in a previous part of my collection. Pip Speak, I don't know that I covered it in a previous part of my collection, so I'll show this really quick. I actually just used this in my September monthly member readings, and it was fabulous. Pip Speak is great. It's absolutely just great. I love it so much. It's fabulous in every possible way. I adore it. And then I have my Tarot of the Malchemical. I have the Tarot of the Alchemical Magnum Opus by Robert M. Place. I love this deck. I love the alchemy vibes. This gives just great readings. It's again a pip deck, but it's RWS pips. The pips make sense if you know the RWS. Like there's the 6 of Cups. There's the 2 of Cups. There's the 8 of Coins. You get the idea. It's very, love that Priestess of Water for the High Priestess. It's just great. And it's actually renamed like the majors after their alchemical process. So we have Greater Dissolution for the Tower. We have Resurrection for Judgment. Greater Conjunction for the Sun. Red King for the Emperor. Conjunction for the Lovers. Gosh, I keep getting things out of frame. Anyway, you get the idea. So it's the only alchemical deck. To me, this is the alchemical deck. If you're going to get one to study, I feel like this is a really good one. And it takes very little to match it all up in a way that's meaningful. So I love this, and that stays. It's not quite a Marseille, but I treat it kind of that way. All right, so those are safe. Let's take a look. Oh, and then of course, oh, right. And then I have my Squid Cake Marseille. We did a whole deck study on this. This one, actually, I have modified with all of the words from the guidebook. And even still, I think I am going to let this one go. It's got a great guidebook. The study was so much fun. Did I write in my book? No, I just wrote on the cards. This has got the best little guidebook. And if you want to learn Marseille, highly recommend this modification, number 1. And working with the book and actually reading about it, I think it really helped for me to solidify Marseille. Maybe I told myself I was going to let this go, but like, because I think if I'm going to use Marseille, mind you, I've only got this one and the Mythical Creatures in my collection right now. No, you know what? I am going to keep this. I am going to keep it. I thought I was going to let it go. Okay, so these are the sort of pocket / mini oracles that are in this section. And now that I've cleared out my tarot, I think I can actually move these so I can remember that I have them better. But of course, these 2 pocket oracles by my bestie Dawn Michelle, the Sacred Threads Oracle. I should probably like ditch these info cards. I do not need these. I'm going to ditch those. so that I can just pull this out and shuffle. But if you haven't seen Sacred Threads, this was the first deck that Dawn, it's not the first deck. Her first deck was it was like a Rust something Lenormand. I don't have that one, but I have these ones. And I just think this is great. Ooh, it's really pretty. It's very like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. It matches with a lot of things is the word I'm looking. I don't know what the word is for that, but it matches well with a lot of things. And it's my besties. And it's great. I love this Patience one. It's linen cardstock, memory, protection, stability. Love all the critters. This one just feels like the outdoors. This is probably my favorite card, this illusion card. I think that's called the River of Fire. Legacy. Love this little alien card. It's great. And her Stargate card. It's fabulous. It's so fun. So I have these. I have to say, though, between her two oracles, I use Finders Keepers a little bit more. I think this matches with more things. But Finders Keepers, and I know at one point she was talking about doing more of these, and I do hope she does. I'm going to, also, again, I'm going to ditch the title cards. But these are like, these feel like her, I think, because of all the like layers and collage in these, the way that she like literally, she took an old deck and she just started doing art over top of it to make her own. And I love how it turned out. It's just fun. I love the themes in here. Find yourself, decay, endless, believe in magic, silence. So that's a fun one for sure. Love the backs too. So cool. So that is Finders Keepers. So those can actually now fit among all the tarots because it's not, I actually have room now. And then this, so a lot of y'all were giving me some crap about the other Soul Trees based Oracle deck that I was having trouble with because of the cardstock and I just hadn't bonded with it. I'm hoping this is going to be the solution for me with that because I really feel like I like this, but I haven't used it much. But I like the little messages. Soulmates, love and unity, harmony, and make a choice with the heart. I think these messages are really great. The star, the dreamer, discernment, creation. I like this one better than the other Soul Trees one that I had. And I love the size of this too. What is this one called? This is called Soul Trees, The Dreamer's Journey, Major Arcana Oracle. Oh, excuse me, Pocket Edition. And I think the thing is that this one does have a set of cards in here that align with the Major Arcana. What does it say on the back of this? Insight and inspiration through 48 ethereal yet rich paintings inspired by Tarot's Major Arcana. So I think 48. So to me, I don't know. I don't know how, like here's the wheel, a change in circumstances, a new cycle. It definitely covers some big themes because it's inspired by the majors of the tarot, but there's more than just the majors in here, if that makes sense. Like you'll see the majors, like here's strength, courage and fortitude, compassion and growth. But this one doesn't have any gilding. It's a really nice size. I like it. I like it. So this is the same, I keep forgetting to show you, but Dawn Michelle's were both poker size, but that's the Dreamer's Journey sizing. So I like this one. And I'm going to keep this one. And again, if it can live actually up front where I can see it, then I can actually remember that I have it, which would be great. So now, again, I'm still in the first two rows. I've cleared up tons of space. Let's take a look at Lenormand decks real quick because I have a bunch of these and I definitely want to pare this section down and I know it's going to be a challenge for me. So, okay, let's see what we can do. So first of all, I have my Grand Tableau. This is my classic. So this one's safe because it's beautiful and it's classic. It's got these like double blue bird backs. And then these are what the fronts look like. Super, super classic. Super great. Love it. Love it. And oftentimes when I use Lenormand, this is like what I think of nowadays. So this one is safe. Oh, I guess I can show you sizing still just for reference here. So this one is definitely like that sort of tarot in a tin size kind of. All right, so that's the Grand Tableau. I really don't need the book, but like here we are. So like won't hurt anything to keep the book in there, I guess. Okay, this was such a great little mass market find. Highly recommend this. Talked about that a bunch. This one I might be ready to let go. This is like a period of time in my life, and so it's got like a nostalgia element, but it's not something I actually really use because especially it's like younger me. This was created for me by Julie at Peekaboo Rose. She had done these, like, figured out how to do these Bitmoji decks, and I think she was following instructions that somebody else had, but like, look how great. So it's got like me and, oh, I've got Peggy's in here as well as mine. I think I just need to store these. Yeah, so Peggy didn't use hers, so she gave hers to me. So that's Peggy's, and then at some point it's going to flip to mine. I think now it's mine. So this one is Peggy as a Bitmoji, and I'm obviously the partner card for her. But like, it's all, look at it, it's all Peggy. So cute. Look how great that is. It's fabulous. It's so great. And then there's me. But like, I don't use these. Like, look at the backs for Peggy. It's like the poop emoji. And for me, it's like me and a dancing unicorn. Like, this is like iconic stuff. But again, I don't use these. I just love that I have them. So I think I'm just going to put these in storage. I'm not going to like get rid of them. But I don't need them in my like active rotation. But like, look how great. Look how great. Oh, so good. So those are going to go into, I have an actual shelf where I put decks that I'm not actually using, but that I want to keep. So that's going to go in my little storage section. So keep and store. Easy. Okay. This one should be, I believe, my kind of training deck when I was doing the Learn Lenormand with Me series where I put keywords on it. Yeah, this is the Bunny Kisses Lenormand. This is a little indie deck created by our very own Bunny Kisses. And so I wrote my keywords on here and used this throughout my Learn Lenormand, Let's Learn Lenormand Together series. And it was so great for that. And I loved having this. This is another one that I think I will probably store because I don't use it outside of that series. Okay. This one should be safe. This is my cute little Lenormand. Like, it's super clean. I forgot to show again. I'm sorry, y'all. There's this one is even a little bit bigger than standard playing card size. Like, it's bigger than these kind of cards. So I don't know what you call that, but it's a little bit bigger than poker size, but it's that kind of shape, right? But this is great because it's so easy to look at. If I'm being honest though, as clear as this is, I don't really use it, but it is super nice to have one. I don't love that there's only one way on the ways card. That drives me crazy. But other than that, I love the Querent and Partner cards. I think they're really great. And it's pretty clear and clean, easy to look at. And it goes with the little book that, oops, I love the cute little Lenormand book. So this is fun. I think this can stay. This can stay. All right. So that one's safe. I'm actually conflicted about the Claire de Lune. This is out of print now. Excuse me. This is out of print. Oh my goodness. This is by Anna Turian, and it's really beautiful. I've had this for a long time, and it's got that gorgeous Anna Turian style, and it's these like markings that are kind of like yellow, blue, pink. I think it's mostly yellow, blue shades that make it look like moonlight. It's really, really pretty. I don't use this. Like, I used it in my envelope readings just as an excuse to use it, but in a grand tableau or in a bigger spread, I actually find the lack of color variance to be a bit of a challenge. I don't mind that in my little midi Lenormand that I showed you earlier, the little mini that I keep in my purse, because I only use that for like 3 to 9 card grids. But I don't know. I think I'm probably ready to let this one go. But again, Purgatory, I'm not going to be in a big hurry because this is out of print and I can't replace it. Okay, one that I've talked about for years, and I still think is such a great set for people who want to get into Lenormand, is the Celtic Lenormand, but this is not for me. I never use it. I reference it constantly, but it's not ultimately for me. The art is beautiful. It's Will Worthington's art. The guidebook is incredible. There's so much depth in it because we have, for every card, you get the like Lenormand keywords. But then you also get spell use, timing, affirmation, and deities associated with that particular card, which is so cool. My favorite thing about this, and the reason I've ended up referencing it all the time, is because of all the ways you can customize it, which for a mass market deck, I don't know that they do this anymore like this. But you can choose your own birds card. So for example, I'm going to pull the tree out because we'll look at that too. Look at the child. We'll look at the lady. Trying to think what else you can customize. I think you can customize the rider, the snake, the man, the dog. What am I looking for? Oh yeah, there's the birds. Okay, so you can choose the songbirds or the owls or the chickens for your birds card. These are all card 12. I love that you can customize it like that. I always used the owls for me. For the tree, you can choose oak or holly, which you could also change out seasonally. This really does stay true to its name for being the Celtic, right? For the snake, you can go with the classic sort of snake vibes or a more transformation vibe with this snake shedding its skin. For the rider, you can choose a male or female rider, which I think is great. And then we've, of course, got different women. We have different men. We have different children and either a dog or a cat, which, I mean, how great is that? So great. But I never use it. It's got too much going on for what I like in Lenormand, so that one can go. That brings us to 2 more. So this one is out of print, and it's a Robert M. Place and Rachel Pollack. I'm keeping this, I'm pretty sure. It's quite big. Oh, I forgot to show the Celtic. Dang it, I'm really bad at I pull out a reference card for size, and then I forget to show you. Let me show you this one, because this one's actually a pretty nice size. It's, again, like that kind of tarot in a tin sort of size. So it's not super tiny, but small enough for, I think, a Lenormand. I like smaller Lenormands. But this one is like not that much smaller than a standard tarot. It's just a bit less, like it's a bit more squared off than a standard tarot. But this has some really interesting things about it. And I've got an in-depth guidebook that I got separately with this. This is like Lenormand if you make it kind of esoteric and spiritual. And I really like that aspect of this. It makes it make for like richer, more deep kind of readings, less on its face. This is definitely more like a spiritual Lenormand. I don't know how else to describe it. Like with the flaming tree, there's a lot of writing in the book. The owl and the mouse. That's instead of birds. The scythe, the jumping fish instead of the fish. The gold ring. The girl and boy. This is actually instead of the child. The anchor, we have the man, the mice, the heart, the mountain, Hermes and the messenger, the hound. But you also have in here, and I think I must have missed it. Oh yeah, so these are extra cards. So we have Isis and Osiris as extra. So instead of a man and a woman, we also have Isis and Osiris. It's a really cool deck. Very unique. I've never seen anything like it. And as I mentioned, it is out of print. Now it comes with extra man and extra woman card, which is great, as well as a book of life, as opposed to the regular book card, I believe. Let's just double check where that is here. So I think that's there's the Osiris card. And that's instead of the broom or the whip. We have the tower, stork, bouquet, garden. What's interesting is that even though these are quite colorful and the illustrations are quite full, they're not cluttered. Yeah, we have the snake. Instead of the snake, we have the burning serpent, bear, stars, letter, house, rusted cross, dead trees instead of coffin, ship, clover, path. Wait, did I just pull Book of Life out entirely? I don't know why I would have done that. There's no other book, so that needs to be in there. Anyways, there's an extra man and woman card, which is the punchline. And this tiny little pamphlet, which doesn't really do much for you, other than it does sort of identify some of the ways in which it's different. But this was, the fact that this was a Robert M. Place and Rachel Pollack collaboration is also kind of exciting. But yeah, it's very unique, and it would be impossible to replace. This one I'm keeping. So this one is safe. My Grand Tableau Lenormand is safe, and my cute little Lenormand is safe. Wow, really paring that down quite a bit, I believe. And then lastly is my one and only novelty Lenormand that I plan to keep. Like these each have a very specific purpose. We've got clean and cute, clean and traditional, really unique and kind of spiritual. And then I have this one. This is new to me. This is the Ghastly Lenormand. It is so freaking cute, but the fact that it is spooky season themed, like this is so freaking adorable. And the book for this is amazing. And there's some wonderful extra cards in here. I haven't even shuffled this yet. We're going to shuffle it right now. But before I do, here, let me go to the end. So typically Lenormand ends with 36 cards, and so it would end with this cross, right? I've shown this before. Like, look, they're coffin shaped. Come on. Like, these are the best. So again, this is the Ghastly Lenormand. This is, the Ghastly Lenormand from the grave. And I don't see the creator's info on this little coffin box, but the book that accompanies it has it. And this is magnetic. It's the most satisfying, like, product design too. But anyways, these are the extra cards, and they make a ton of sense to me. So we have this treasure chest, which is going to be like a big treasure. We have the dueling pistols. Makes sense for conflict. We have medals. We have a broken mirror, a dancing skeleton, a creature from the deep, like we'll say a squid or an octopus. Y'all, I'm really bad. It's an octopus. It's an octopus. Okay. A bat, a moth, poison, a wardrobe with obviously some kind of monster trying to come out of it, a compass, a magnifying glass, a hearth, a pocket watch, a safe, and a spider. And the thing about that is that A, they're extras, so you don't have to shuffle them into your deck if you don't want to. But I feel like for whatever reason, those are really easy for me to read. And it makes me question why I've hesitated to get decks like, I don't know, the Black Salt Oracle or whatever, where it just has objects on it. And I keep thinking I'm not going to be able to read with it. But like, some of these are so obvious. I feel like I'll be able to read with them no problem. So I don't know what happens in my brain when it's a Lenormand versus when it's an Oracle to suddenly make that okay. I don't know. I don't know what my issue is, but there we have it. But anyway, I mean, the cardstock isn't great. Like it doesn't have a core or anything. So of course it's going to warp a bit as I shuffle it. And with the odd shape, I mean, it's surprisingly easy to shuffle, but as I try to bend it to bridge it, it's not liking that very much, which is a bummer, but it's so stinking cute. And I thought it'd be fun to play with over the spooky season a little bit. So I'm going to hopefully play with this in October and we'll report back. But yeah, anyways, that is the Ghastly Lenormand from the Grave. Such a fun one. So it's staying for now, but it's possibly temporary. You know, we'll see. So putting back in what I am for sure keeping is actually really liberating because I'll show you where we're at from a how things fit perspective. So I basically have all of my like tarots, like these are a set. So these are together. So this is Tarot Oracle set, but these are my Pippy tarots. These are my, like this back sort of section here is all of my like sort of, I want to use a slightly smaller tarot. My teenies are right here. My 3 pocket oracles are here. I have my, that's how that should go. I have my reference Rider-Waite-Smith here, and then I have my Marseille decks right here. Then I have my playing cards in this back section, and I have my Lenormand decks here. So I have 4 Lenormand decks. I have 4 playing card decks in this basket. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Marseille decks specific to Marseille. Actually, this one's not Marseille. This is, she's Pip. She's Pip, but there. 4 Marseille, 1 Pip deck that's just sort of mini. I don't know. It just lives here because it just makes sense to me. And I have, as far as like mini decks or pocket tarot oracle stuff here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 in this little area, plus my purse decks. So 15, 16, 17. Plus my little mini Everyday Witch, which is living in there for now. So that's not bad. I feel like I'm doing pretty good here. That really straightened up this basket quite a bit. So thank you so much. Let me just pop this here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. This was a long one, but I appreciate you hanging out. I was really looking forward to organizing this basket. It's been kind of a chaotic mess for a while, but I appreciate you all so much. As always, extra big thank you goes out to my Unicorn Fam channel members. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And as always, everybody, I appreciate you so much. Until next time, may your magic always shine from the inside out.